Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Now, what is a prism? A prism is a triangular glass which has two lateral surfaces inclined towards each other, making an angle, and this angle we denote it by angle A, and we call it angle of prism. Now, Isaac Newton was the first person who observed this spectacular phenomena, that when a light ray passes through a glass prism, then a spectrum of white light, a band of 7 colors, was observed. Now, let us first of all see what exactly he did. When we pass a white light, this was the incident ray, this was the white light coming. Now, when it went from this medium air into this medium glass, because it is a glass prism, it will bend from its path, and that bending took place like this. Fine. Now, if I draw a normal at this particular point of incidence, this will be my angle of incidence, and this will be angle of refraction, as we have studied earlier. When this ray of light passes once again from glass into the air, it again bends, but now it will be away from the normal, and this angle will be angle of emergence. Fine. So, this is the incident ray, this is the refracted ray, and this is the emergent ray. If I just want to see by how much path this particular light has deviated, so this is known as the angle of deviation. This ray of light should have gone straight like this, but just because it is passing through a glass prism, it bends, and that is why it is deviated from its path. So, in this particular diagram, we need to remember a few things. This is the incident ray, this is the refracted ray, and this is the emergent ray. If I just draw a perpendicular or a normal, then this will be the angle of incidence as we know that it is the angle between the incident ray and the normal. Same way, this will be the angle of refraction, the angle between the refracted ray and the normal, and this is the angle of emergence, that is the angle between the emergent ray and the normal. This is the angle of deviation, that is the angle at which this ray of light gets deviated from its original path, and this originally this was the angle of prism. Fine. So, this is how light rays bends while passing through a glass prism. Now, if we recall, when we talked about the same ray of light passing through a glass slab, then the incident ray was coming, it bent towards the normal, then it bent away from the normal. This was the incident ray, refracted ray, emergent ray, and we saw that the actual path of ray, which should have been if the glass slab was not there, and the path of ray which is there because of the glass slab, they are parallel to each other. But this is not in the case of the glass slab. Now, why it happens? The reason is that in a glass slab, the surfaces are parallel to each other, whereas in a glass prism, the surfaces are inclined to each other, making this angle of prism. Now, in this activity, we will show the dispersion of white light through a glass prism. Newton allowed the sunlight to enter through a small hole in a window of a darkened room. He placed an equilateral prism in the path of the narrow beam of light, and the light emerging from the prism was allowed to fall on the white screen. It was found that light received on the white screen was a band of 7 colors, that is our spectrum, and the order was from the base of the prism is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. This is our Vibgyor, right. So, this order of colors can easily be remembered by remembering the acronyms, the first alphabet of all the colors, Vibgyor. Okay. So, this is the spectrum which was formed when a beam of light was allowed to pass through a glass prism. We will get the Vibgyor. Okay. Fine. Now, there was a beautiful observation. That observation was made by Isaac Newton, as I told you earlier. What he found was that if white light pass through a prism, then after refraction he got a band of 7 colors, right. He got a band of 7 colors. These colors, as we all know, they are acronymed as Vibgyor, where V is the violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Now, this particular phenomena of splitting of white light into a band of 7 colors is known as dispersion of light. Fine. And this band of 7 colors, this is known as spectrum. Now we need to understand why does this happen. It happens because this white light consists of these 7 colors which all have different wavelengths, and because of these different wavelengths they are scattered or they are bent at different angles. The violet color has the least wavelength, the red color has the maximum wavelength, and as we can see, if this was the white light coming from here and after passing through the prism, the violet color is bending the most from its actual path and the red color is bending the least because of its longer wavelength. So, that is the reason why we get these 7 colors. Fine. Ahead, Isaac Newton thought of putting one more prism like this in front of it, but he could not get more colors out of it. So, he concluded that the white light was made up of 7 colors. So, students, let's have some fun with this animated video regarding recombination of white light. Now, for this experiment, Newton took 2 exactly similar prisms, that is, the prisms were of the same material and had the same refracting angle. He passed white light through a slit and allowed it to fall on the prism A. He obtained a spectrum on the white screen. Now, he interposed prism B in an inverted position. He found that a patch of white light is formed on the screen. Now, why did it happen? The reason for the above phenomena is that the second prism B turned the dispersed colors towards its base through different angles such that before emerging from it, they were incident at the same point. Thus, they rejoined to form white light. In fact, prisms A and B collectively act like a glass slab with parallel sides. The prism A disperses white light and is called the dispersing prism, whereas prism B recombines dispersed light and is called the recombination prism, right. Suddenly struck to him, what he did was, he put up a glass prism and he placed another glass prism just opposite to it, turned upside down, and what he observed was, he observed that initially this white light, this was the white light, initially this white light was just dispersed into 7 colors, and on passing through this glass prism, it once again came back as white light. Hence, once again, conclusive of the fact that the white light is made up of 7 colors. Fine, right? So this is the phenomena of scattering of white light or the dispersion of light into spectrum that is band of 7 colors. Got it?